Hello, welcome to another episode of The Whipping Prophet by Sister Philomena. Today's topic is let your love for God bring you closer to God and not your problems. So we'll be reading today the book of Luke chapter 18 from verse 10 to 14. This chapter tells the story of two men who went to pray in a temple, a Pharisee and a tax collector. The Pharisee addressed himself before God as pleaser of God when he said, I quote him, "Thank God I'm not greedy, dishonest, or an adulterer like everybody else. I thank you that I'm not like that tax collector over there." But the tax collector said, "God, have pity on me, a sinner." Now the Bible said in Luke 18 verse 14 that for all who made themselves great will be humbled, and all who humble themselves will be made great. Our prayers are answered based on our relationship with God, attitude to the things of God, and obedience to God's words. There are some people who have been praying for more than 5 or more years about a particular issue and no answers are forthcoming. They will change church, but still the problem will be compounded. Brother, sister, you will not say that you have never heard the word of God, the gospel of Christ. But the big question here is, when you heard God's words, what did you do? How did you react? Did you harden your heart? Remember God's words. Today, if you hear God's words, do not harden your heart. That today means a day has been set by God for you to hear God's words or gospel in such a way that you will have sleepless nights thinking or pondering on it. Then after pondering on it, did you or did you not harden your heart? Sister, brother, this might happen maybe some years ago, and here you are praying for that promotion, that fruit of the womb, that marriage, but you forgot your first encounter with the word of God. That means the miracle you're searching for is what took you to different churches, and not that you want to know God and find out what he wants you to do. When you turn to the book of Ephesians 5, chapter 5 verse 17, it says, "Don't be fools then, but try to find out what the Lord wants you to do." That should be the attitude of every Christian. Your first work as a Christian is to know God, to worship him, and to serve him, and preach the word of God to others. But you can't preach the word of God to others if you don't know it. If you draw closer to God, he knows what you need, what you're lacking, and he will provide for it. But when you are far away and come only when you have problems, and when it is solved, you zoom off again, then don't be surprised why your prayers are not yet answered. When your problems are the reasons you're closer to God, then your prayers will take time before they are answered, because those problems are the only thing that made you come closer to God. That is it from me, Sister Philomena, the Whipping Prophet.